Hello one and all, Mickey here, Surviving RNG, and this is going to be another quick update video. Firstly, the name change. I know back when I made the previous update video, I talked about changing the name between Surviving RNG and RNG Survivor. I didn't actually realise at the time, even though I checked, I clearly didn't check thoroughly enough. RNG Survivor was actually already taken. Well done, Mickey. Well done. And as for how well the channel has been doing since then, honestly, I've mentioned to a couple of you guys that have asked, there hasn't really been a difference. For the first 5 videos uploaded since the name changed, they weren't flagged as inappropriate, but every single video since then, without fail, gets flagged as inappropriate. So has it made a great deal of difference? No, not really. But I am hoping it will at least help change YouTube's perception of the channel and stop any indirect references with Disney, which results in my channel just getting the wrong kind of spotlight on it. Anyway, as for the content, a couple of months ago, I decided on basically what I'm doing right now, where I'm going to be having 2 series running concurrently on my channel and alternating between episodes throughout the week. On the one hand, you have survival and RNG based games like 7 Days to Die, Invisible Inc, and currently RimWorld. Those I'll be cycling through them. So we're currently on RimWorld. After I've done a series that is at least successful enough, even if it fails, it likely will fail. In fact, it's pretty guaranteed to fail. Then I'm going to switch to 7 Days to Die again and do a series for that. The rules are going to be slightly different for the City Slicker Challenge run. With the city being bigger, the new rule is going to state you cannot leave the city, which is going to make the game considerably harder. And we're leaving Alpha 16 behind, we're switching back to Alpha 15. And on top of that, I'm going to edit the ini files so that every single one of the zombies that exists in Alpha 15 appear in the hub city, which isn't actually the case. Football zombies, miner zombies, hazmat zombies, they don't normally appear in the city. At least that way we'll add a bit of variety as we're stuck on Alpha 15 because Alpha 16 is just an absolute mess. And on top of that, I mentioned it is going to be modded, so we're going to be having a bunch of new buildings. I think the mod that I installed added like, I don't know, over 200 buildings, and I loaded up a test run, and man, the city just looks completely different. It's going to be so much fun to play in what will essentially be a completely new city. Now, how this is going to play out, as I intend to do a City Slicker Challenge run with Vanguard, doing a co-op series with that. I don't know. If that series with Vanguard starts up sooner, then I start a solo run, then I'll skip 7 Days to Die and head straight back to Invisible Inc with the Contingency Plan DLC, and if it doesn't, then I'll do a 7 Days to Die run and then do an Invisible Inc run. So as I mentioned, that is one set of games that are currently running on my channel. The other set are games like Prey and System Shock. Now sure, Prey wasn't Iron Man. System Shock 2, of course, is Iron Man. When we're done with that game, I actually think what I'm going to do is move on to Thief the Dark Project. A couple of you guys mentioned it and I thought that is actually a really awesome idea. I love that game and I haven't played it in a long time, and hopefully there are as many mods out for it as there are for System Shock 2. So I'm really excited to do that. It probably won't be Iron Man, but what I'm thinking is it'll absolutely be Bronze Man. Because the missions are disconnected from each other, each mission will have a single life. You die, you restart the mission. So not true Iron Man, where if you die you have to restart the game, just if you die, you restart the mission. And given how much more vulnerable you are in Thief than you are in System Shock, I think that is very appropriate. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of jumping puzzles you have to do for Thief throughout the game, and anyone can lead to an instant death. After that, maybe Thief 2, I don't know, I might do a different game between Thief 1 and 2, and the same goes for between Thief 2 and 3. But as for Thief 4, no. Yeah, I'm never playing Thief 4. Unless there are mods that change everything about the game, I'm not touching Thief 4. Thief 4 is just absolute sacrilege for the Thief series. So those are the 2 different sets of series that are running at the same time on my channel. Beyond that, of course, Dead State continuing. We're actually a quarter of the way through the hard limit of the game, and by that I mean we're on like day 22, day 23? Actually, I think day 24. And the game ends, I think, day 88 or 89. That is when the game ends. It hard ends. You can't go past that date, but you can finish the game earlier. So we're absolutely a quarter of the way through. But in terms of how many locations we've cleared out, I would say we've done maybe a third, probably more than that. So we're actually progressing through the game pretty damn quickly. And of course, Xenonauts, I haven't forgotten about that. Xenonauts with the mod Xenophobia and the mod for that, Into Darkness. That is coming, guys. I know I mentioned it a long time ago, but that I need to do a lot of practice on the game, and that practice really does take time, unfortunately. And not to mention, because I have a feeling I'm going to be restarting the campaign so many times from playing on the highest difficulty with those mods installed and with Iron Man, and because I want all the soldiers to have viewer names, that is me a pain in the ass set up. So I'm probably gonna have to set up like 10, 15, 20 campaigns on save files where the initial base is set up and all the soldier names have been changed, because doing that on stream is going to be a pain and also incredibly boring. Other than that, XCOM, I mean, not really any news there. it's continuing. And actually, I nearly forgot, speaking of the name list, I will get back to this at the end of the video. I'm scrapping the old name list and I'm making a new one, but I'll get back to that. As for quick look videos, I really need to give Battle Brothers a look. Shivel donated it to me a long time ago and I just haven't found the time to play it. All I know is that it's a kind of turn-based XCOM style, but more in the medieval era. And the problem with games like that is they kind of need a little bit of practice to be half decent at, even if I'm just doing a quick look. But hopefully I'm going to get to that sometime soon. And then as for the co-op videos with Mouthspouts and Vanguard, as I mentioned, I'm hoping that Vanguard and I can do the same kind of modded run that I intend to do for the solo 7 Days to Die series. The city's going to be slightly larger. We're going to use the mod that adds over 200 prefabs for the buildings in the city. And I'm also hoping, as I mentioned, for the solo series to edit the INI file so that all the zombies that appear in Alpha 15 also appear in the city. When that's going to happen, I'm not sure. We certainly can't start it for at least a week, but hopefully after that, maybe we can do it. As for co-op videos with all the guys together, next up we're looking to do PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I'm going to be absolutely atrocious at that. Any game with that kind of realistic shooter combat where you're engaging people at extreme ranges, like Operation Flashpoint, Arma, or DayZ, I'm absolutely goddamn atrocious at it. My eyesight is terrible. Spotting enemies a couple of pixels high off in the horizon, it's just not going to happen for me. But we're going to play it, we're going to give it a go, do like, I don't know, 3-4 episodes of it. Beyond that, we've also talked about doing a series on Barotrauma. I don't really know how to describe it. If any of you guys have heard of the game called, was it like Space Station 13? Imagine that, but with a submarine. Again, when that'll happen, I don't know. Other things might come up before that. I mean, we've also talked briefly about doing a couple of episodes for Supreme Commander, but again, if something more modern crops up, or if we gain access to a different game, maybe we'll do that. Oh, and also the new DLC for Stellaris is going to be out soon, so we're going to be doing that as well. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of things that we want to cover. I mean, so many games that we want to cover, but because coordinating between the four of us is so difficult, we can only ever cover one at a time. So we'll just have to see how it goes. And now, as I mentioned, the name list. So I am never ever going to play favourites on my channel, but I do feel that people that used to watch the channel and aren't currently watching the channel shouldn't have the same likelihood of appearing in a game as those that are currently watching the channel. So basically the name list that I made for XCOM 2, like, oh my god, like over a year ago, I'm going to scrap that name list and I'm starting a new one. So guys, if you want to appear in games like XCOM, Xenonauts, RimWorld, stuff like that, games that I can change the names of the soldiers or colonists or survivors or whatever they are, put your name down in the comments below. And guys, don't worry about any details beyond that. When I did the name list for XCOM 2, I asked for whatever details you wanted, and well, that didn't exactly work out, did it? But the real reason I say don't worry about the details is not only is it a huge amount of information for me to go through, but also not all the games can have certain aspects of the character that you might become to be changed. A good example is gender. In games like XCOM, sure, you can change a lot of the visuals of a character, but you can't change their gender. And not to mention in games like Xenonauts and RimWorld, which I'm sure in a game like RimWorld you can install a mod that'll allow you to change whatever visuals of a colonist whenever you want. The customization options are kind of limited. So as and when you appear, just let me know whatever visuals you want to have on that character depending on the game. Bear in mind, for something like Xenonauts, all it really is gender and race, and that's it. Right, yeah, I actually had to go back and add more to this video because I've got to mention all of my videos have to become shorter for a number of reasons. Firstly, it doesn't matter how short a video ends up being, going through over an hour's worth of footage is a huge amount of work. Even if that video doesn't have a lot of editing to it. It could be something like Prey or System Shock where I have an hour's worth of footage and only cut it down to about 50 minutes, or it could be something like RimWorld where I have an hour's worth of footage and cut it down to 10 minutes. I still have to go through an hour's worth of footage. And even though I aim for each recording to be about 40 to 45 minutes long, it always ends up being at least quarter of an hour more than that, sometimes a lot more than that, well over an hour. So what I'm going to do from now on is aim for each recording to be half an hour long and then end up being like 40 or 45 minutes long, which is a lot more manageable. Now for some games like System Shock, that won't make a great deal of difference. The videos will be like 25 minutes, half an hour long. For other games like RimWorld, they might actually end up being less than 10 minutes long. But unfortunately, that's kind of really how it has to be. The next reason why they need to be shorter is the shorter the videos are, the more videos I can upload. If I can get to a point where I can upload 2 videos a day, YouTube will be a lot more favourable with this channel. Because sure, 1 video a day is fine, but 2 videos a day are kind of the standard for YouTubers nowadays, which is great if you're not editing the videos, but if you are, that becomes a bit of a problem. So as an example, a video like Invisible Ink, where they were like 40 minutes long or upwards, I'm going to cut down into like 25-minute chunks. And I know that can be annoying, but remember guys, that does actually mean there'll be more videos uploaded every single day. And the last reason why I want to make the videos shorter, one of the ways that YouTube checks to see how good a channel is what's called retention. The average percent of all your videos that is watched. The higher that percent is, the more favourable YouTube will be with your channel. The retention for the average videos on this channel is 30%. So that's guys, less than 1/3 of each of my videos on average are being watched, which would kind of make sense when videos like System Shock or Prey or Invisible Ink are upwards of 40 minutes long each. So yeah guys, those are the 3 reasons I want to make the video shorter. 1, it's less workload for each video. 2, it means more videos can be uploaded every day. And 3, it means there will likely be a higher retention rating for the videos on my channel, and YouTube will consider the channel more favourable. So yeah guys, I guess I'll just cut to the ending that I've already recorded. But yeah guys, that is everything. So thank you very much for listening, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye bye everyone.